Hey there, friend. Christina here with NursingSchoolofSuccess.com. And today, I just wanted to have a sit-down, real conversation with you about some of the top mistakes that you are probably making in nursing school. And I also know I put in the title that there's things that you haven't heard of before. I don't feel like anybody's talking about this. So I just wanted to have a real conversation with you today to bring them to light, because I feel like it's something that you're seriously struggling with because I know that I was in nursing school. So I want to talk about it and help you through it. So here are 3 mistakes that you're probably making in nursing school that you haven't heard about before and maybe just haven't noticed yet. Now, the first mistake for nursing school that I want to talk about is having an anxious or cluttered mind. Now, how often do you think about your thoughts? Like, how often do you actually think about what you're thinking about? When I started having this realization in nursing school, I think I was right around halfway through, and which is unfortunate because I feel like it would have been so valuable when I had first started nursing school. So as I was being more aware of this idea that I could control my thoughts and that I was actually being more conscious about what I was thinking about, I realized how much time I spent being anxious in my mind, having negative thoughts, and almost kind of like having a busyness or a cloudiness to my brain. My brain was just running rampant out of control. So do you do this too? This might look like for you things like you're driving to class and you're stressing about this paper that's due, the care plan that you've got next week, your nursing instructor said one thing, there's drama happening with your classmates in nursing school, your mind is just running rampant and you think all of those things are true. And even though it's just your brain making up stories in your mind and kind of like that, kind of the doomsday thing, like everything is wrong, everything's going wrong. That's kind of that anxiety, right? Or it could look like, this was a big one, when I would sit down to write a paper or a care plan or do something, I was trying to be productive, and I would go and, start writing, and in the back of my mind, I would be thinking about, man, I have like all this other stuff to do. Like I know I have to focus on writing this paper, but I've also got this care plan and I've got this, this exam coming up, and when am I going to have time to study with that? Or it could even be, in your sleep. So when you wake up from your sleep and you're already stressing about nursing school, for me, I know that that's a huge part of my anxiety is actually having anxious thoughts while I sleep. It's kind of this inability to rest. Because when I was trying to rest or trying to relax, I always found myself in that anxious state. I would wake up feeling less refreshed than when I went to bed because I feel like I had just spent 8 hours just stressing over what I had to do for nursing school. So those are kind of the things, the ways that it might manifest for you. Those are the ways that it manifested for me. And I'm thinking that it might be true for you as well. So I wanted to bring this to your attention, and this is something that I have been working on a lot lately with myself, is that anxiety is formed based on your thoughts. And here's the kicker. Here's what I want you to know, is that you can change your thoughts. So yes, anxiety seems out of control and hard to reel in and hard to control, but when I have finally started to understand that anxiety is actually caused by those thoughts that I'm having, like when I was writing a paper or a care plan, I would sit down and have all these thoughts in my mind, like, oh my gosh, this might not be the most productive thing to do, or I have this exam to study for. Now, looking back, those are just thoughts in my mind. It doesn't make them true. Even though you have a thought, it does not make it true. So sitting and writing your paper could be the most productive thing that you can do in that moment. But your brain might tell you that you've got a gazillion other things to do. Try to focus in your thoughts. Just notice those thoughts. That's step 1, is just notice the thoughts that you're having, those negative thoughts about all that anxiety and all that stress and all those things. So step 1 is just to notice those thoughts. And then step number 2 that I have really been starting to implement in my own life is to, once I've noticed that thought is there, that I'm having those anxious thoughts, is to just say to myself, I'm thinking this thought. Now, I was just talking to my brother the other day about this. He's reading a book. I think it's called The Happiness Trap. I have not read it yet, but he's reading it and he really likes it. And he was telling me this kind of idea, which I'm starting to implement in my own life. I've heard it from other sources as well. It's to just, when you're thinking these negative thoughts, when you're noticing that those thoughts are coming up for you, those anxious thoughts, is to actually think to yourself, I'm thinking this thought. So if you are actually writing that paper and you have a thought saying this, I have a whole bunch of other studying things to do. You can actually say to yourself, I'm thinking I have a whole bunch of other studying things to do. It doesn't seem like it's that big of a deal, but friend, it is. The more that you do this, it kind of separates yourself from that thought. So it makes it almost less real. So even though your brain is telling you, oh my gosh, this is a disaster, I have so many things going on, like your brain is just running wild. When you start to notice those thoughts and say, okay, I'm thinking that this is a disaster. I'm thinking that I have so much to do. I'm thinking that, I don't have enough time to write this care plan for next week. When you start noticing those thoughts and saying, I'm thinking this thought, it really starts to separate out your emotions about it. So rather than getting all up in a tizzy and going crazy and, letting that thought run wild in your mind, it's actually really a good way to control it and bring it in and to then move on to the next step. And the next step of this that I really want you to try is to, once you've noticed the thought, you've identified it as just a thought, and you've placed that in its little cage. I'm going to say its little thought cage, like you've told yourself, I'm having this thought, so I'm thinking this thought, and then remind yourself how far you've already come. This was huge for me in nursing school. When I was studying to take an exam, or when I was, trying to prepare for clinical, it is extremely nerve-wracking to go through nursing school, and because you have all these responsibilities. It's just a lot of weight on your shoulders. Like, friend, I totally get it. So it really helped me to look back at my past and say, Christina, you have made it this far already. I heard this quote somewhere. I think it was on Michael Hyatt's podcast. I don't know if you listen to him, but it's so good. He's all about productivity and being more productive and efficient in your life. And I just love all his stuff. It's Michael Hyatt. And I think I heard this from him, so that you have a 100% success rate in getting through hard times. I don't think that's the exact quote. It might be, but I don't think that's the exact quote. But it's something to that effect. That just remember that you have 100% success rate in getting through all of the failures you've had, all the anxieties that you've had, all the trials that you've had in your life. You are here right now. You have a 100% success rate in getting through those hard times. And that, for me, really helped me trust myself more and just realize that, okay, I am probably more capable than I realize. I can get through this. It just gave me more confidence in myself to know that, yeah, I got through my prereqs in nursing school, or I got through all these tough things that I faced, and I can do this. So those are kind of the 3 steps that I want to encourage you to try out. So step number 1 is just notice that you're having those anxious thoughts. And then step number 2 is to actually tell yourself, okay, I'm thinking this thought. So I'm thinking I don't have enough time to write this paper, or I'm thinking that I can't create a A+ nursing goal, or I'm thinking that I'm not going to have enough time for sleep, things like that. So separate yourself out from that anxious thought by saying, I'm thinking about this. And then step number 3 is to just remember everything else that you have achieved thus far. It's almost kind of looking back at your life and being grateful. There's a lot of research, you've probably heard this. There's a ton of research out there about gratitude and how that can help decrease stress and anxiety, because it's very, very difficult, if not impossible, to be grateful and anxious at the same time. So by looking back at your past and saying, wow, I really did that. Like, I really did that. Like, I got through my prereqs. I got through those really hard times. Man, if I did that, I can do this. I can do this. So those are really the 3 steps that I really, really encourage you to try out. And let me know if you try these out. Let me know in the comments what you think. How did it go for you? I would love to hear about it because this has been really, really game-changing, so life-changing for me over the past. I've been working on this for a while on my anxiety. As you may have already known, I've gone through a lot of work on my anxiety through nursing school and especially after nursing school, kind of trying to reel that in. So man, do I know something about anxiety, but this is a constant work for me. And so I would love to know how these steps work for you. So let me know in the comments if you try them out this week. Let me know how they work for you. Now, the second mistake that you are probably making in nursing school, and something that I can just about guarantee that you have not caught on to yet, is creating drama in your life. And I'm not talking about the relational drama with nursing school classmates. I know I hear about that a lot. That does kind of fall into this category because I think it's a consequence of what I'm about to talk about. But I'm talking about drama in your brain. If your brain is cluttered with all of the thoughts about, I'm not good enough. I hear these a lot from nursing students is, why should I try when I'm just going to fail anyway? That is drama that you are creating in your mind, that you're not good enough. You're just going to fail anyway. That is so dramatic. I know it's tough to think about that that's actually drama, but it is. It's a dramatic statement that you are saying in your mind. You're creating drama in your life by saying, I'm just going to fail anyway. So when you're having those thoughts and creating that drama in your mind and in your brain, you feel out of control. It doesn't feel like you are choosing to procrastinate, but you are choosing to procrastinate on your paper. And you're thriving on the drama that creates. That procrastination in and of itself is then breeding more negativity in your mind and more drama in your mind. And it makes sense. That's what I used to do. And I know that a lot of people do thrive on that drama, but over time, it will spiral you out of control. And especially for nursing school, I know this is probably true for you. I often describe nursing school as you feel like a shell of yourself because all of the stress and pressure that you're under in nursing school really makes you feel like a completely different person. Like you were a totally different person than you were before you started nursing school. It's just incredible the amount of stress and pressure that it puts on you and how that can change almost your entire personality. And this is one way that it does that, is it just breeds drama and anxiety in your mind. So those are kind of some ways that you can tell that you're bringing more drama into your life, as if you're procrastinating on things like writing your paper, your care plan, or even procrastinating on paying your bills, or leaving things to the last minute, or you're just being overly dramatic about the things that are happening, the circumstances that are in your life, the environment, or things that are going on. Like you get really up in arms about something that a nursing instructor said or something your classmates did. You create just so much drama around the circumstances of your life. And I know that this is so hard to notice because I don't think I probably noticed it in nursing school, but it is so detrimental to your brain and your mindset. Because if you're constantly in that negativity and that clutter and worried about what she said or what your nursing instructor did or this or that or procrastinating, then you are not spending your brain power on doing the things that matter, which is studying and learning and enjoying nursing school, which yes, you can enjoy nursing school. You just have to push past all of these mindset blocks and all of these mistakes that I see nursing students make. So remember what we said before, thoughts are a choice. You do not have to think thoughts about procrastination or think thoughts about that person's a bad person because of what she said, or, that instructor is rude because of what they did. Don't bring that negativity or that drama into your brain. Just move past it, let it roll off, focus on what you have going on in nursing school, because that is enough to focus on, right? You've got so much going on. Just focus on the things that you have to do. So do not waste your wonderful brain power on focusing on the wrong things. And now the next one that I want to talk about is quitting the comparisons. This one I wanted to talk about because I just watched another YouTube video, and this girl was talking about how her nursing program is a competitive football field. I mean, it just sounded like so negative, which tells me that I think that it's probably not that way. I think we all just think it's that way. But when we step back and look at it logically, it's not. So in your nursing program, you might think that your instructors are pinning you guys against each other, but that's actually not true. So yes, you may have had to apply to your nursing program, and maybe you were in competition with students before you got into your nursing program because there's only a few slots. But once you're in nursing school, it's not like you're competing for like the top 10 spots to graduate. No, like everyone can graduate. Everyone can graduate if they want to, and if they work hard, and if that's what God wants. So everyone in your program has an equal chance of graduation. So it's not a competition. Like you're not pinning, instructors are not pinning you against the other classmates. I don't know. I just thought this was this crazy idea. We did have this slightly in nursing school, but only for like a minute. Like when, like the first week of nursing school, you kind of have that, we kind of had that feeling because we came out of those prereqs and our school was really competitive, like all nursing schools are, and it was difficult to get over. But thankfully, we had great instructors that really encouraged us to get over that. I really encourage you to support each other and maybe just to take a step back and come to the reality that even though you might think that that's what's going on, that's actually probably not what's happening, even though it feels that way. Like I totally get that it feels super crazy, super negative, and super terrible in nursing school. Like nursing school can be the worst. Do not get me wrong. Nursing school can be the worst. So I totally get that it feels that way to your core. But just because it feels that way doesn't make it true. Just because you have a feeling about it, just because you have a thought about it, doesn't make it true. So take a step back, logically like assess the situation like a nurse does, assess everything going on and really see, is this actually a competition? No. And then therefore, since it's not a competition, what can I do to help support my friends? What can I do to help support my peers and my classmates? This is what I recommend. I really recommend that you find somebody in your nursing program who has different strengths than you. So you will have different strengths than someone else. And this is really where comparison comes in. We think that we have to be good at everything, when in reality, nobody is good at everything. Like God gave us our spiritual gifts for a reason. Everyone has different strengths and weaknesses. That's how we were designed. So, and it's such an amazing thing because then we're able to support each other as we go along. So I always like to give this example because me and my best friend in nursing school, we had very different strengths and weaknesses. So she was extremely good at clinical and skills labs, and I was not. So we in our program, we got like 3 times to pass a skill. And every single time I had to take it at least 1 time over again. So we would get 3 times and I would fail the first time, every time. Or I would have to take it even a 3rd time. So it was terrible. Skills were just not my forte. I'm totally fine with that now, but skills were just not my forte. On the other hand, though, I was super good at pathophysiology and med-surg and learning the lecture content. I mean, that's why we have our NursingSOS membership community right now, is because that's what I'm good at. This is my gifting. That's how my brain is wired. I'm really, really good at taking those concepts and breaking them down into smaller bite-sized pieces to help explain it to people and make it a lot more simple. Like that is my spiritual gifting. So I would help her with the lecture content and then she would help me with skills. So it was really, we would support each other. It was not a competition. We would just support one another in our strengths so that we were pulling each other up in an area that we were weak weaker in. So I really recommend that you find somebody in your program that you can help support. So find somebody with some strengths that maybe are your weaknesses, or find somebody who's maybe weaker in an area that you can help them out with. Be a friend to everybody. Make sure that you are supporting each other, encouraging each other through this process, because it is not a competition. Friend, I know so hardcore. I get it that it really, really feels like it's a competition, and it really, really feels like you are completely burned out, completely stressed, and you are like under the boulder of nursing school, like nursing school boulder, you are crushed. So that's what it feels like. It feels like you are just a shell of yourself. Like we said, that you are a completely different person. Like your personality in nursing school is not who you usually are, simply because you have all this stress on your shoulders and all this pressure and all this weight on your shoulders. So I want you to stop the comparison. I want you to stop comparing yourself to the other students and stop acting like it's a competition. And that will change your environment around you. That will change your thoughts about it. That will change how you perceive it. And so, like we said, those thoughts end up becoming your actions. So whatever you're thinking is what you are going to act on, and you can change your thoughts. So make sure, like we said, follow those steps. I would love to know if those steps help you out. Notice your thoughts. When you think that thought, put "I'm thinking this thought," in front of that thought. So if you're thinking, I don't have enough time to get it done, tell yourself, okay, I'm thinking I don't have enough time to get it done. That will help you to really separate away from that negativity of that thought. So really, really, really try that out. Stop the comparisons in nursing school. So friend, I know this was a longer video than normal. I was so excited though to sit down with you and talk about these 3 mistakes that you might be making in nursing school, because I know that I made these mistakes. And I know that if I were to go through it again now, I would do it completely different than I did before. Every single day we get better and better. We grow every single day. Hopefully we want to be growing and getting better every single day. And it's kind of that cliche, if I knew then what I know now, I would do it completely differently. So I wanted to share this with you to hopefully encourage you to do it like I would have done it, in this way, not feeling so anxious and so overwhelmed and so stressed, because it is possible. I know students, I literally know several students who love nursing school. And I really did. I loved nursing school. There were definitely aspects about it that were not my favorite, but I feel like for the most part, I did maintain a pretty good positive attitude through it. And I know people that do even better with that. So I know students who just flat out love everything about nursing school. And I love that about them, because you know what? That's a choice. It's a choice to be joyful. It's a choice to be happy. Happiness is not just something that happens. It's a choice based on your thoughts in your brain. So you can change those thoughts in your brain, like we talked about. So if you are constantly getting stuck in that negativity, try to like we said, separate yourself out from that negativity. And I'm not saying to make it all sunshine and rainbows right away. Like, no, that's not, that might not happen. But at least try to notice that you're having those negative thoughts, and know that it is possible to be happy in nursing school. Because friend, it is totally, totally possible. So I hope this video helped you out. I know it was a little bit longer than normal, but I hope you found it valuable. I was so happy to talk about this. And like I said, let me know in the comments if you try those steps to help reel in your thoughts and kind of decrease that anxiety. I would love to know if that worked for you and how your experience went. So let me know down in the comments what your experience was with trying out those steps and what you thought about it. And I would love to chat with you. So I hope you have a great rest of your week, and I hope you have a great weekend. And we'll chat soon. Take care. Bye.